speaking of primaries that matter and that we should vote our goddamn hopes in order to prevent our worst fears, I want to welcome a former organizer around LGBTQ rights with AIDS Project Los Angeles, a mentor and a board member for the organization Girls and Gangs, and currently running for mayor of Los Angeles on a progressive platform. Please welcome Gina Viola.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. Gina, thank you so much for being on. I know you are just off of like a fundraiser and an event. I hope that was energizing and dope. And I want to ask you about, your campaign and like what, we're in a time where we're all rushing to say, no, we don't mean defund the police. We don't mean that. Nobody's serious about that. And you are openly talking about it. And tell me why and what that would mean for Los Angeles.
Absolutely. So first off, thanks for having me on. MSNBC can't handle your smoke. So look for a better network. Is there one? I don't know.
I think RT might be available.
Yeah. Oh, they're hiring, dude. No, I'm already on TYT. I got it. I got it made in the shade, kind of.
Your conversation was so great. I started writing down notes thinking I was going to come in at any moment and like interject to everything you guys were talking about. I was so excited. I had so many things to say when I got here. But let's talk about defund the police, because in light of everything that's happened the last 2 weeks, right? Buffalo, Texas times, right? People are even forgetting that those Korean people were killed in Texas before we had the massacre of children. Laguna in California. I woke up 2 days ago and I said to my husband, thank goodness we're running a candidate. If we were not running a candidate right now, I would be beside myself, because the Democrats are never going to do anything different. So defund the police is about this. That's what this is about. The police state that we're all living under, the state-sanctioned violence, all of this is playing a part into daily culture where we're deciding it might be okay to make schools, with bulletproof doors and armed teachers, and, or that folks can't go shopping or go to church anymore without a target on their backs. And this is a direct result of what we've done with our military budget at a federal level, and then our policing budget at municipal levels. Yeah. So it's not far-fetched. We have no problem defunding education. We have no problem defunding mental health services. We have no problem defunding, rehabs. We have no problem defunding anything except the police. We have to take a good look at that. Speaking of Los Angeles, the LAPD's budget has grown 52% in the last 10 years. No other line item in the city's budget has seen that kind of increase, right? And there are 50 law enforcement agencies in the county of LA. So we're just talking about one. So when I say we live in a police state, I'm being very serious about that. And white people in particular have been very supportive of state-sanctioned violence against people of color and poor people. And this is why I'm running. I'm running to interrupt that process. I'm running not as a Democrat, not as a Republican. I'm running as a full, true outsider to interrupt that.
And I mean, so you're running as an independent, is that correct?
I'm no party preference is my
no party preference.
Yeah. In Los Angeles, your party doesn't really matter, which is why it's so funny that Caruso changed parties, because it doesn't even matter with our jungle primaries the way we do it. But supposedly LA would never elect a Republican, but I would argue that there's a whole ton of Republicans in our city council right now. Democrat in name only. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned his name, Rick Caruso, who again is poured $23 million. This was as of a month ago.
39.5.
There you go.
39.5.
Who's counting though?
Yeah.
Ethics.
Exactly. God. He's a billionaire developer. He charges you $8 for parking when you go to the Grove, or any of his.
But now you get a lawn sign. with your $8.
Oh, that's adorable. I swear to God, every time I pass a Caruso sign, I'm always like, I'm going to kick it. I'm going to kick it. I'm going to take it away. And then
I'm
Matt,
going to get blamed for it if you do. Just
yeah, I know. I was just like, no. And you're like, but he is so ubiquitous. He's everywhere. And he's trying on June 7th to basically sweep the prime or the essentially avoid a runoff.
It's not happening. The undecided has been leading this race from day one. The undecided actually grew after the mainstream media showed you only the 5 candidates that they believed were running. The undecided number went from 40 to 55 after the second televised debate. So that's who's leading this race. And my argument is they're not worried that Caruso is going to get 50% of the vote. They're worried we're going to get 50% of the vote. And what they want is a showdown between Caruso and Bass because both of them will keep the LAPD whole.
Well, I mean, so we know Caruso sort of bad faith saying he's going to end homelessness by sweeping up all the homelessness. Cool. But tell me about Karen Bass and some of your critiques of her,
Sure.
And what she has turned out to be and what she hasn't turned out to be.
Right. So, Caruso could have solved homelessness 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So he's not running to be mayor to solve homelessness. He's running to be mayor to grow the LAPD. Make no mistake about it. So we'll just say that. But Karen Bass is a product of the Democratic Party. Like that's, she was my congresswoman. I liked her as a congresswoman. Truth be told, I really wasn't paying much attention now that I think about it, because now that I've actually gone back and I'm looking more at her voting record, I'm like, this is interesting because I used to go to her town halls. I used to sit on her phone calls. So I was very supportive. When she got into the race, I endorsed her immediately, went to her website, click. And then her houselessness policy came out and I was shook because I have been on the street doing mutual aid with my unhoused neighbors this entire pandemic. And the one thing I know does not work is criminalization of the houseless. It does not work. And it's costing lives, 5 lives a day. And every time we do these cruel sweeps, people die. Like 2 people died 2 weeks ago after the Little Tokyo sweep. So, I saw that she was going to leave 4118 intact, which is the making it illegal to sit, lie, or sleep anywhere in the city pretty much. And it's a criminalization. It's so if you don't want to take the crappy services they're offering you, they can scoop you away and put you in jail. So I was out. I was looking everywhere on her website for the unendorsed button. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? It didn't exist. and then her public safety plan came out, and we all were in movement space together. We were shook. We couldn't believe that not only would she keep the LAPD whole, that she would grow it, right? She would grow it. And I'm like, if you were paying attention to what's going on in this city in the last 10 years, like there's just no way you can say the words Black Lives Matter and grow the LAPD.
And she hasn't been. I mean, I think that her Bass tacking to the right is a complete misread of a young, growing voter population that was out and very loud during the 2020 George Floyd uprisings. And I know you've been endorsed by Melina Abdullah, of BLMLA, who has been so pivotal here in the city. And it just shows me that like Washington truly is you lose touch, you get complacent. And she is and look, and I'm not saying that like fucking, yes, there are tons of Republicans in this city, but you want to energize a voting base for a mayoral election, and especially on June 7th when maybe, the voter turnout might be lower. You don't do it by saying, oh yeah, no, more police, more cops.
Yeah, it's the Democratic Party. They're just as beholden to the LA Police Protective League as the Republican Party is. And that's the truth of the matter. Yeah. And when I saw that platform, that's exactly when I knew that this was going to be the reality and that we had to run a candidate. And it's me. And it's me. So here I come, this, who is this white lady running for mayor saying defund the police. And it's me. I've had to learn how to be forward facing, public facing. It's so unreal to me to run into people and tell them like something that happened to me yesterday. And they're like, yeah, I saw it online. I'm just like, this is crazy. My whole life is online now. But truly, it's about deciding. Like for me, I don't want to live in a city that can't say Black Lives Matter. I don't want to live in a city that isn't like down with Black Lives Matter, that Black Lives Matter isn't part. And frankly, I don't think you can win a city like Los Angeles without Black Lives Matter behind you anymore.
Of course.
And that's a bet I think they're hedging that they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So it is time for true change. And what is super hopeful is there's 20 progressive candidates running in Los Angeles for a wide variety of seats.
Yes.
Right? City council, city controller, city attorney, state assembly, Congress. I mean, we are everywhere. And I'm predicting a clean sweep. And you will actually have some folks that will get in there and make some change, because let's face it, the Democratic Party is never going to take care of us. If we could not get single payer health care in California, when we have a super majority, the Democrats have a super majority up in Sacramento, we couldn't make that happen in a pandemic. The Democrats are never going to give us health care. Never.
Newsom, he'll remember who he was one day. He'll remember.
When he runs for something else and needs people who want,
and he needs to say Medicare for all again.
Right.
Oh God.
Right.
Gina Viola, please tell us your website and how to support you and your work.
Sure. Absolutely. Thank you. It's Gina, FORLA.com. That's our website. I mentioned Caruso's number. I didn't tell you ours. We've raised $42,000. Nice. And we outpolled a sitting city council member who was running for a year and a half and raised millions of dollars. We tied a city attorney who got in the race first, right? He was running for 2 years. 2 years. These both have dropped out. They've since dropped out. Also, a millionaire who put $4 million of his own money in, Ramet Varma, has dropped out. So, I've said this for a while, like, it's not about the money. It's about the voters. We need people to vote for us. So vote your values. This is a primary. Karen Bass said herself on the debate stage with KCRW, nobody's getting 50% in this primary. So she said it. She said it. So vote your values. I think what's happened for me in this, which is so beautiful, is I will never, ever again, as long as I live, hold my nose and vote for somebody I don't want to vote for. I will not. And I will sleep better at night because for as horrible as I knew Biden was going to be, I wish he was only that bad. So, and again, I don't even blame these people personally. This is the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Well, I'm personally glad that we have a progressive candidate like you in the mayoral race, Gina, and we need you, and we're going to keep needing you, as well as the city council members who are running, and hopefully will also win their races. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you for the work that you're doing. And
thank you for having me on. I'm a new fan. I love this show.
Hell yeah. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.